They zoom in on this ship, and then all of a sudden you can see the bottom of the boat and the top. So the boat doesn't go over temperature, it's going to around.
Why is it? So if you was on that boat, what would you see?
Well, I see the opposite thing on the side of the shore.
So let's say this is the horizon and the boat's going round. What do they see? How close is this?
Well, just to tell you, it's smaller. You could be 10 miles away, eventually I want to see.
Yeah, but in space, if you was 10 miles away, you would continue to be there. But if you instantly accelerate in space, I would continue to see you get smaller, and the amount of light reflects off you will decrease.
Hi. I'm filming for my little YouTube channel. Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Me? Oh, please no.
You seem like an intelligent young lady.
Yeah, but I'm very young. So.
Yeah, that's all right.
What is this about?
This is about the government lying to us about the place we live, who we are, the control system that runs this place, completely changing the nature of our reality or our belief in this reality, such that we would become enslaved by it in some way, shape or form. And so when you look around humanity today, you see a huge amount of enslavement of the mind, body and the soul. And we discovered a few years ago that even NASA has been caught out lying about going to the moon. Have you heard that before? No. Okay, well, they faked the moon landings because truth is they can't actually get out to the moon. There's a thing called the Van Allen radiation belts. It's known in science as the Van Allen radiation belts. They admit today that they still can't get out there past these Van Allen radiation belts. So they faked going to the moon, and we looked into why. And we found out that it might be the case that the Earth isn't a ball spinning in space, and that it's a flat plane, and it's stationary, just like it says in the Bible. The Bible says in Genesis and stuff, it says how it's a flat Earth, and that the sun and the moon are small lights that go above the Earth. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
When I first found out this about 4 years ago, I went back to the Bible and I was like, man, damn, I was right. When I was a teenager, I said to the preacher, I said, look, the Bible says the Earth is flat. Why are you telling me that it's a ball? Why are you religious people so happy to get behind the scientists who say that gravity, a magical force that we can't measure, is actually causing water to cling to a ball, which is not what it says in the Bible. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell the Bible, I can assure you that, because I think the Bible is also like a government. It's like a control mechanism. It's got some good parts in it, but actually it hides the truth about who and what you are. And I'm out here today trying to share with people who and what they are. But to get to understanding who and what you are, you've got to realize the magnitude of the lie that has been propagated against you and your four family. My name is Dave. I have a YouTube channel called Trinity 4. And I'm Trinity 4, and I talk on this subject, and particularly on things like how vaccines are harmful for us, how cannabis is a good medicine for us, how the government have conspired to hide this truth from us. Yeah? Well, tell her to look into Trinity 4. I mean, the mind blower at the top of the pile at the moment for us is one of the most incredible things is that the Earth might be a flat plane and that we might be electromagnetic beings, light beings of the Creator, meant to be having an awesome experience, but having that robbed from us by all the things of control that divide and separate people on our earth today. So for me to kind of go down this rabbit hole and start unpicking all the lies that have been railed against us, it means that I can become a better man myself, a better human, and therefore share that with other people and hopefully inspire them to be better humans and make the most of this true experience as it should be, and not stolen by the man, as they say, you know?
Yeah.
You're welcome. What's your name?
India.
Lovely name, India. Have a super day. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you. There's India. I'm getting the usual kind of... Hey, friends. I'm getting the usual comments from people, you know, a little bit of ignorance and programming and so on. Hey, bro. How are you, my friends? It has been a while since I last went live. I assume that there's some people here. There's one person here, so I'm in good company. Hopefully it's not just a bot that's joined me. Can you hear me? Is that... Oh, I've got some thumbs up, so it's cool. Yeah, let's see if I can have another conversation, because that's really what I'm here for, is to have some conversations. And we're at Crystal Palace Park, which is one of those places that reeks of mud flood. I've been here before, and you can look on my channel if you're at all interested on some of the stuff I've done at Crystal Palace before. Let me see if I can help this man. Good afternoon, my friend. How are you? It's a beautiful day. It's been some strange weather. I don't believe the earth is flat, sir. I know that water is level. Do you mind if I film? This is my YouTube channel. What's your name? Michael, I'm Dave. Hi. Okay, so 4 years ago, Michael, I'm 50 odd years old, and I've discovered that that there's a curvature formula for living on a ball. Can you tell me that formula? You live on a ball. Can you tell me the formula for living on a ball? No. Do you know the circumference of the ball that you live on? No. Okay, it's 24,900 miles, there or thereabouts, apparently, right? So if you take that maths and you've got a radius of 4,000 miles, which is what they tell us it is to the core, then you've got to descend down 8 inches for the first mile, and then for every mile thereafter, if you start from your start point, it'll be descending that distance 8 inches squared. Sorry, 8 inches per the mile squared. So at 2 miles, it would be 2 times 2 is 4, times 8 is 32 inches. I don't want to bore you, Michael, but it turns out that the curvature that I thought was there when I saw a ship going over the horizon is actually not there at all. It cannot be measured. It should come back into view if I go a little bit higher, or if I get a more... The moon is round, like a plate. Right. But as a sphere, no, we can't tell that from here. We would have to go around the other side if we were to tell that. So we can agree that we can see a disc or a coin. And I can see the moon roll through the sky very slowly, about half the speed of my hour hand, but like the face of a clock, the moon turns. And you were never taught that at school. But now I've been observing this for 3 years. And the other thing that's interesting about the moon is that we're told that the shadow on the moon is caused by the Earth occlusion. But oftentimes the moon and the sun are both up in the sky, well above any occlusion that could happen by the Earth itself. Right. How do you answer that?
The concept of, do you know what the concept albedo means? Albedo?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, well, in lighting. Is it a lighting thing? Yes, I know, but I've looked into all of these, and I don't. It's same with the eclipse. I don't subscribe to the idea that you can take an object of a certain size and make its shadow smaller as you move it away from a target object. So make its shadow smaller as you move it away from a target object. So we're meant to believe that the moon creates a shadow smaller than itself, much smaller than itself on the Earth because of these albedo effects or these bleeding of light. So no, actually. Let me ask you this then. If I said to you that the moon can be provably measured to be a cold light, a putrefying light, would that trouble you at all scientifically? Because we told there's a reflection.
You and I have entirely different standards of proof. Entirely different.
Well, the proof. Okay, so what is your model? What actual model of a ball of water on a ball, Michael? Water falling off a ball? No. Disney offers a lot of that kind of proof. Mostly, I got it from Disney and cartoons. Atoms flying around a core or whatever, what's it, a nucleus, all cartoons. Why would they do that?
I have no idea.
Well, I had no idea. As a 50-year-old man, I had no idea up until 4 years ago. And then I realized that actually everything that I was taught was a deception, a lie, a misteaching in order to encourage me to think that I was simply some kind of evolutionary lucky strike that had crawled out of the slime, become a monkey eventually, and then turned into a thinking man, and now I was at the pinnacle of that. Well, what if I was to say I discovered that we are at the bottom of the pyramid right now, and humankind has never been more retarded than it is right now, more dumbed down, more stupid, more less connected to nature, to our source, to our creator, if you like. Because whilst I don't believe in any of the religions, I found out that we have been created, that the Big Bang is a creation of the Vatican. It's a Roman Catholic idea, the Big Bang. And if you believe in the Big Bang, then you believe just the same in the virgin birth. For me, they're all the same now. It's the same as evolution. The idea that we can't prove that something can become something else if you give it enough time. Well, actually, frogs don't become men, no matter how many Disney stories they write about that kind of thing. So there's a reason why they would deny your son, your daughter, yourself, the truth about who and what you are. And that is, my friend, because you are the creator meant to be having a divine experience of yourself. But they want us to stay as slaves. They want us to think that we have to go to this school, become a box, and go and work in the city or in the factory to go and make them more money or to be a wealthy consumer of their goods. That's all that they want from us. Why do they want that? Because there is something more esoteric, and I won't go into that, but I think there's something more esoteric as to why they're doing this, because there's a lot of effort.
Who's they?
That's a good question. I think the system of control is run by Freemasonry, but run by Freemasonry. You want to say something?
What?
You want to say something?
No, I'm really lost.
Oh, okay. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for something, I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Am I a flat earther? Yeah. No, I'm a human being, brother. Okay. But I don't believe on a ball anymore. I don't believe in the ball thing. Have you heard that it's a joke to believe that the earth is flat?
No,
but,
I haven't. I actually did a scientific report on it.
Okay. And let's hear what you have to find. Share with us, my friend. Did you find any examples?
I made a whole model of it. It was in a astronomy class. But I'm not a scientist, so you probably know better than that.
But could you model water sticking to the outside of your water bottle or the outside of a ball? Could you model that? Other than sticking paper mache onto a ball.
Modeling, it was the disc.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You see, the disc is obviously something that we've been programmed to think that we live on a disc. Oh.
We have to go away, so we have to...
Hey, nice to meet you, bro. All the best. Yeah, well, what? And they've got no science shows that we're moving. No scientific experiment. Hard force or energy. That's all right, brother. And I believe you're a fractal of God. You may not want to know that. And so is your beautiful son.
Thank you.
Have a good life.
We have to actually head back for lunch.
Oh, have a good life, man. All the best. Well, we had a bit of a slower start this morning. Occupy Mars. This is going to be interesting. Brother, Mars is a light. You can't land on a light. Mars is not a rock. You've been lied to by Disneyland and NASA, which is Disney. You see a lot more of the NASA t-shirts around nowadays. You see them selling them, pushing that religion hard on people. Does anyone else come to join me? Nice, thanks for stopping by and all that hoo-ha. I've been busy. And my little boy keeps me very busy. He's beautiful, he's doing really well. Thanks for asking. I assume you're asking. Hello, friends. Good day. Hello. You know that thing about saying good morning to people? Like morning, as if you're in mourning. As if you're in mourning. Earth is flat. Well, water can't stick to a ball, and walls don't float. So, water is level.
No.
Yeah?
It's a sphere.
A sphere? Do you know how to measure the curvature of that sphere?
Because the planets revolve around.
Okay. But do you know how to measure the curvature on that sphere? How? Yeah, no.
Delete that now.
Or, yeah. I can't. It's gone live. I can't stop it. But I won't film it anymore.
Actually, then let me say this. It's absolutely inappropriate for you to be filming people's children and going live without their permission.
Yeah, okay.
Actually,
I get
you didn't ask me permission for that.
Yeah, sorry about
really, you didn't. Yeah, it's really inappropriate. We're in a public park here and you're
We
filming
are.
other
Well-
people's children. It's massively inappropriate.
All right. Oh, no, it's only because we're in a conversation. But I do apologize, not meaning to offend anyone. But the earth is still flat, and you've been lied to by your government. Well, that's obviously gets people a little annoyed. It wasn't like I'm filming her doing anything funny, just having a conversation. That's all. Good day. It's funny, we are become a target because we're wanting to have a conversation. Sorry. Yeah, who's that? I can't read very well. My screen has been shattered in a number of ways, and it's very difficult to read my screen now. Let me turn it around for a second. Oh, Lord above. Yeah, people do get a bit triggered about this. I understand. What's going on in Flat Earth? There's a lot of stuff happening in Flat Earth, eh? Various things and so on and so forth. I'm a little bit kind of taken aback by that woman's vitriol. It like, proper, that proper sense of she wants to grab a hold of my phone. See Josh over at Authentic and had his phone thrown away by some crazed bull boy. Yeah, it raises the spectre of people getting more and more kind of triggered because they've had time to think about this, and the anger in some cases have festered. But I guess I don't know what's happening this year, 2020 and all that, but I feel like we're in this for a longer haul, Oh, let me guess what I've got a bit of a treat for you guys. I really didn't expect this to happen, but here you go. I just need to jack my battery in. Hold on, it'll be worth it. Alright, you don't want to look at my face. And then if it's an unlikely event, there's a few ladies watching. I suppose there's a little bit of candy for the eyes. Let's see if I can. People laughing, I think. Full. Couple of possibles note they're walking away as I approach. It's like trying to catch flies sometimes. I'm glad Harry's filming some of this because I won't belabor this for too long. It's, well, I suppose if you're watching this, you can always fast forward through the dull bits. I'm hoping there's going to be a few more interesting bits. There's some guys here who find it funny. Hey lads, I'm filming for my YouTube. You don't mind, do you? You looked into Flat Earth? You've heard about it? Have you done any research for yourself? Do you know NASA was caught out faking the moon landings? I only found that out. Yeah?
I believe it's fake the moon landing.
Well, if we didn't have NASA's pictures of Earth from space, how would you know that you were living on a spinning ball? Because you know there's no science that actually proves those two things, spinning and ball.
What about when you get a telescope and you see that little planets around, why would ours be flat?
I'll give you two things to think of. One is that what we're seeing is lights that we can resolve with a telescope, but that telescope isn't very powerful at all. If you had to take that same telescope and try and look at, say, London from Crystal Palace, you would not be able to resolve a person in a building, say in the Docklands, just 10 miles away.
Mars is flat, or anything?
I think Mars is a light. I think there are nothing floats. Rocks would fall to the ground because there's only one up here in this universe and only one down. So things aren't kind of walking underneath us, under a ball in Australia and all that sort of stuff. Planes are called a plane because they fly over a plane. When you fly to Australia or South Africa, where I'm from, you never notice the plane ever going anywhere down, but level. My drink is level, my spirit level that I've taken a spirit level on a plane, level the whole way. So when am I ever going down? No, it makes much more sense. Ships, actually what we think ships going over the horizon, actually when you take that telescope and you point it at that ship, you'll see it for another half hour. Why? Because it's just your vision now has been improved depending on the weather and the vision of the observer and the height of the observer. You will see that ship further and further and further. Go up in a plane, you'll see half of the Mediterranean Sea with all these ships dotted around on like a glass plate. So I say water level, sea level, why not ocean level? Why not ocean level? Why not its level from England to America?
Well, what would you say? It's sunrise. What's it hiding behind first?
Well, light is light.
It must be hiding in a wall.
Okay, so things work in my height. At my height, things work at a certain perspective. So 3 miles away, I won't be able to see anything. And the same is true with light. The further it is away, the less likely I am to see it. But like an aeroplane or those clouds, let's look at those clouds, for example, right? It seems like those clouds are actually going down. But if we went up in a hot air balloon 100 meters, we'd see those clouds just like a parallel line going as far as the eye could see. But what my perspective does to my vision is it makes it look like everything's going down from me. But that's just a matter of perspective.
That baby shark was like up the space, and you can see the Earth behind it. So
The what does in the space?
on their Facebook, it said Buzz Lightyear up the space, and you can see the Earth behind it.
Yeah, did you see the one where Elon Musk sent a car up to space? Did you hear? You know about that? Elon Musk sent a car to space, right? People believe that's real, and yet there's meant to be a thermosphere that would melt the thing.
Same over there, the volleyball.
Yeah, they play with a.
That man can watch that, spend your time
Yeah,
on that.
but now they play on a ball or they play on a pitch.
No, they're playing on sand.
Just because we think we see balls in the ground, in the sky, doesn't mean that we're standing on a ball, right? Your football pitch is a flat pitch because that's the best way to play. If I was to ask you to model me up on Earth, you'd have to do it inside a swimming pool. Like they used to do the weather in this country, right? ITV had a swimming pool where they put a model of England, like in a swimming pool. Good luck, guys. Look into it.
Cheers, guys.
There you go. Well. Yeah, they're right about the volleyball, eh?
I do believe, I really believe that the Earth is flat. I don't know why. I have
Nathan, nice to see you, mate. It's got to be done, man. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. The truth has to be told. Yeah, I think they must be having a jiu-jitsu competition here this weekend because there's a lot of guys wearing these sort of t-shirts, well-muscled guys, well-fit. like the lot I just spoke to, the guys I spoke to a minute ago.
On the visor, like your sunglasses, there's a camera like these.
See what I'm saying? Back to me then. I don't want to be like. Back to me then. I don't want to be like a. So yeah, what's going on in Flat Earth, friends? And what's going on for you? If you're watching this, I hope that you are doing the work on you, because I'm doing work on me. As I was saying to Harry on the way down here, Harry's very kindly stopped by my house for a few days, and we're going to do a little activism. But you know, we're imperfect beings. You know, I mean, that's the truth. Is we are imperfect beings, and we've got our own shit. Excuse my language, but we've got our own stuff to work out. You know, our own improvements to make, our own self to raise. Sorry, I'm on a tether. I've got a little power thing. You know, you know, if you're here for the entertainment, I guess in a nutshell, if you're here for the entertainment, then I'm not trying to serve that need. You know, I'm trying to inspire, and by the things that I do, and at the same time, you know, realizing or acknowledging that I'm not a perfect being, or will ever, you know, hope that's not what I'm trying to, you know, that kind of perfection or whatever, I think is a bit of a setup thing. But to self-improvement and to be a better human and to be a better person and so on, these things are not a lot to ask of us, and that's what we have to be doing, and that means, you know, working through some of the other shit that we've all been laden with. Anyway, so that's what I'm hoping that you're doing with some of your time, and that's certainly what I've been trying to do. Of course, Alexander takes up a huge amount of my time, and I love being that dad for him. The MMA guys or the fighter guys seem to like their arm tattoos and so on. It's become very in vogue. So yeah, so I mean, you know, let's just say we're in this for the long haul, friends, brothers and sisters. Then when, you know, then we you know, then, you know, what are we doing? We don't want to sit on our laurels. We need to be moving, acting, not acting in a theatrical way. Hi, Harry. Look who this is. Yeah. Look at the state of my screen though, man. It's knackered. It's Krakatoa all over the place. It's cracked all over.
Are you filming that way or this way?
This way. I'm filming myself. Harry, my friend. It's lovely to see you again.
Aren't you glad I brought the weather with me?
Yes. Beautiful.
I packed it all up neatly into my suitcase for you.
Thanks, buddy. That's nice.
It's like this all the time in Scotland.
And thanks for the banners. They've been provocative. I still think what we need is like that big writing you got there is brilliant. That really gets people's attention. You've been told lies.
But also it can be offensive to be
yeah.
too provocative for some people.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and the psychology of what's going down in humanity is something that I don't claim to know, but I think about it. Of course I think about it. And what are we being driven towards, and what is this going to bring 1 year, 5 years from now? How does this change the paradigm? How do lots of little actions by us little humans of giant stature make? It's my oldest son's birthday this week, and he's got his pals coming over for a fire pit, burning their school books because he's just finished his school. So I won't be able to do many hours on the coal face today. But it's good to get the old cogs moving again, Harry.
Keep it moving. You cut yourself.
Where?
Full blood.
No, I think, yeah, that's old. I don't own any shorts anymore that aren't stained in some way, unfortunately. Oh. Tight. Yeah. Anyway, I was going to kind of cut this stream short and
When you were young, 5 years old, we were told we lived in the war, and we believed that.
oh, well, it's nice to get up and running and get a little bit of traction under the belt. Some of the loudest mouths are how's my signal now? I suppose a big screen might be more useful for this kind of footage. Damn. The blokes take this pretty seriously as well. So they'll be stretching it out. Yeah, this chalk on the road works well. Friends, you should carry chalk around with you. If you want to do a little something, then just stop in a place and just do that. You can't go and get into trouble for writing a little bit of chalk on the ground. It's going to wash away. In the rain, it's no damage. It's hard to believe, man. Yeah, Earth is flat.
The satellite that fell to Earth was observed. Sorry. There was a satellite.
Yeah, see, the chalk works. Just a little nugget to think about, my friend. Maybe you're going to find your way. You know what I found in this flat Earth thing is that we're still very willing to hold on to other little bits of, you know, the factual picture that we were given before all of this. You know, oh, this part of it is still true or that part of it is still believable, and you know, I keep bashing the politics people because they're an easy target, but the people who still think that politics is going to come out with the truth one day and tell us exactly what's going on here, no, they haven't gone to all this trouble to eventually just come out and say, oh yeah, you caught us with our hands and trousers down. That's a very cute puppy you had. Wow, my dog's also 7 or 8, and people think that she's a puppy too. Have you looked into the flat earth before?
He's been telling me all about
That's fantastic. It liberates your mind and your heart. On the way to the moon, you got it. And you know what? It turns out that you might be the divine creator's spark right here, you know? Oh, no, I know you doubt it. You know why? Because this entire system has been rigged against us to make us think that we are nothing, that we are small and insignificant, when in fact we might well be the most important thing here in creation. And our liberation, our mind, soul and body liberation, it should be our birthright, but it's been stolen from us. And so why I think so I'm so passionate about this is because if you learn this, not just about the flat earth, of course, you learn about your divinity and about how this whole system of religion and government and everything, politics, money, the whole thing has been designed to kind of create monsters rather than create this divine essence of the creator, God, call it whatever you like. And that's what I think that you can discover if you keep moving past this information and go, shit, they lied to me about everything, about who, what I am, what this is, what the construct's about. And I'm just offering this to you as a way to think, shit, maybe I need to see myself in a different way. So don't just go into this as, oh, it's about the government lying to us, because we all know that the government lied to us. It's just the extent to which people believe that the government are lying to us. Me, total. I have absolutely no time, respect. It's a complete sham. It's science, it's fiction, all of it. Right? But what it comes back to is you and who you are and what you are and why you're here and what you're meant to be doing while you're here to liberate, as I said, your mind, body and soul. So I wish you well on that journey, my sister.
It was nice meeting you.
Likewise. What's your name?
Joyce.
I'm Dave.
All right. You take care, yeah?
Bye, Joyce. Hello. Oh, you're looking at the puppy. It's not a puppy. It's 7 years old. Joyce's dog is 7 years old. You know what I was talking to Joyce about? Something that will blow your mind. Have you ever heard the idea that NASA never went to the moon? Have you ever heard that? Well, let me tell you, I found out proof that NASA never went to the moon. Not only that, they faked every photograph of Earth from space. There is no one single photograph of Earth from space. Have you ever heard that? No. It's all created images, and NASA are on record admitting that they create digital images out of, they don't actually go and take a photo, as like a single selfie of the Earth, right? There isn't any that exist of the Earth. So if that's your idea of the place that you live, what if I told you all of that was lies, and that actually Earth is a flat plane and it could not be a spinning ball because water won't stick to the outside of a spinning ball, and we've never measured spinning, turning Earth.
I never know about that, about space or anything.
Yeah, well, because space is actually just made up in a science fiction book in the 1920s, 1930s. And then all of a sudden people started believing it was possible to travel to this outer space. And space can't really exist. A vacuum and a non-vacuum shouldn't sit side by side without a firm or fixed barrier. Have you ever read the Bible?
Yeah.
You read the Bible? So when I read the Bible as a child, I read in Genesis that the earth is flat and immovable, and that the sun and the moon are small lights set above the earth.
Oh yeah, I've read that too.
Well, that's what I now know.
Oh, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I told it to the preachers when I was a kid. I said, look, the Bible's saying the earth is flat, and the science teacher's saying it's a spinning ball because of a thing called gravity.
Oh, so it's why you're not wearing those shoes.
I like being grounded.
Oh.
I like being in contact with the earth as much as possible. You know, our rubber shoes, we're like electrical light beings. That's what we all are.
Yeah.
And we're constantly insulating ourselves from Mother Nature, from Earth, the earth herself.
I know.
So an electrical system needs an earth. You know, like your plug's always got that third prong. That's the earth, right? And so an electrical system needs to be earthed so it doesn't overheat and doesn't overcook. Well, if you never take your shoes off and you're always in a car in your house, you'll never earth. So I suggest that you earth as much as you can. Do a little bit of sun gazing early in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah?
At what time?
What, the sun gazing? It should be like in the first hour before or after sunset or sunrise. Yeah. Well, we've come out to share some truth with our fellow humans, with our fellow divine beings.
Big fun.
You can tell.
That's just living with me. She's only 2, really.
No, not true.
Yeah, 13 and a half. She's quite fast, though. Because of the heat, she feels a bit hot. She's drinking a lot of water. Yeah.
Well, it's been interesting talking to you ladies, and I hope you find some good information from what I've given you today. Don't forget sun gazing, earthing, yeah. Have a great day, ladies, and a great life. Sisters are doing it for themselves. You're all right. Earth is flat, my friends. It can't be a spinning ball. You can't live on a spinning ball. Water won't cling to the side of a spinning ball.
Flat Earth.
Sure, man. Look into it. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon. Yeah. Water is always level, and no science experiment will show you that the Earth is spinning or moving in any way. All science experimentation that's been done in the last 100 years to prove that the Earth is spinning finds, in fact, that it's only the roof that's moving and not the Earth. What else do you want to know about the flat Earth? The Earth is apparently 70% water. Water is always found to be level. We call it water level and sea level. Why not ocean level? If we live on a round ball, there should be curvature to that ball. And that ball, that curvature, according to trigonometry, should be 8 inches in the mile squared. So after 10 miles, you're talking about 800 inches. After 100 miles, you're talking about 80,000 inches of curvature. The world record photograph is 250 miles long. Across the water, we can see an island at 250 miles, which should be 3 miles below the curve of the ball. We know that when we see a ship going away from us and going over the ball, what's in fact happening is perspective is taking it out of your eyesight, bit by bit by bit. When you go to a higher position, you'll see that ship again. When you get a more powerful telescope, you'll see that ship again. So if a ship was going down in your mind to your friend's harbor in, say, Spain or in Africa or in America, would the ship be coming back up the hill on the way back? Or would the person in America say, no, I'm on the top and the ships are going down from my position? Think about those things, my friends. I was brought up to believe exactly the same stuff you do. And when I first heard it 4 years ago, I kind of laughed too, because I thought it was ridiculous how people could still think that ancient thing. When you find out that the ball and the whole Big Bang has been given to us by the Catholic Church,
They have satellites that can take pictures of the Earth.
would you be surprised me to know that NASA admit they don't have a single photograph of Earth from space? They only have digital renderings. This is what they admit. I used to think the same thing too. So if you look at the blue marble shot that NASA has provided us over the last 10 years, America is like a different size in different years. It shrinks and grows and stuff like that, which is impossible. It's impossible. So satellites, if we have any kind of satellites, is what they've been putting up in since the 1940s, 1950s, is big balloons, which they can carry a payload of 5-10 tons, and they can have a satellite hover up in the higher or middle atmosphere. But there's no things that can float in space with it. You know, things that go up in science fall back down. That's empirical science. But we're told to believe that because of relativity, gravity, and a thing called time-space continuum, things are going to float magically around something. And we can't see that in science. In our science lab, you will never see them show you any of those things. You're meant to imagine them. That's why Disney gives you pictures, Warner Brothers gives you pictures of a floating ball every time you watch a movie. They pump this idea.
What's the gain in doing that?
Do you believe in like Christianity, for example? Okay, do you believe in Islam? No, right? Right, you don't believe in that. So what do you think the gain is for Islam? Control. Wouldn't you say? Religion? Control. Religion is about controlling people. Why would you want to control people? You want to herd them. Well, no, if you make people, because remember, the belief that most people have today is evolution. Most people believe in evolution, and they believe in the Big Bang. So that's the biggest belief system or the biggest religion that we have in the world today. And that religion or that belief system robs you of the true essence of what this creation is, and that is that it's a creation made for us to come and inhabit and experience. Not that we happen to be billions and billions of years down the line with a few lucky random strikes of science and biology, that we got some chemistry that happened to turn into slime, and then happened to turn into animals that came, onto the land and became monkeys and became humans. We're meant to believe that stuff when actually we created ourselves. Perhaps we might be the creator, having an experience of our own creation, but some force, some entity has stolen the truth of that from us, and so now we give ourselves up as slaves to the system. We're willing to just live and die horrible little 70-year lives rather than being these divine beings. Well, sorry, I got a little carried away there, but because if the earth is flat, we are the center stage if the earth is flat. But if it's just a ball floating out in space, then there's other life, there's aliens, people believe in aliens, that there's higher intelligence coming to rescue us or coming to attack us or whatever you want to believe in, right? That's what we believe. Most people believe nowadays, is that there's got to be, I used to.
You don't believe there's any other planets?
No.
So what are the stars then?
They're lights, they're stars, they're lights. The moon is a light.
The moon is a light?
Yeah.
A light?
Yeah.
Plugged in like electricity?
Well, I think it's like a confluence of certain energetic points. Yeah. Well, it is an electrical system, and that's the positive, and the sun is the negative, or vice versa. That we live in an electrical system. We are electromagnetic beings. This is an electromagnetic torus system that we live in, and we're sort of on if you cut an apple through the center, we're sort of sitting on that middle plane of the massive torus, and the North Pole might well be the center of that torus field. You and I are each individually electromagnetic torus fields. And this is all away from material.
Fly across the road, we never see the edge.
I don't know that we've ever. I don't know that there is an edge for one, but like in the same way as we don't know that space has. We say space is infinite. I don't know anything about anything. I've traveled to America, Africa, places like that.
You can just keep walking forever.
Well, it might depend on where the light source is. Remember, if it's dark and cold, you can't. So perhaps there are cold and dark areas that we can't travel to. But these are things that I don't know, okay? These are things that I can't prove to you. I can prove to you that water's level, yeah? And I can show you scientifically that we've never shown any science experiment that shows the earth to be spinning. So we've never achieved a science experiment in all of science history that says, right, this is the machine, set it up, now you can see it measuring the spin of the earth.
If you look at a telescope,
Yep.
and a ship is going across the Atlantic,
Yes.
like, no matter how good the telescope is, it's going to disappear.
Okay, and go down.
The curvature.
And if someone was on the other side, say in America,
Yeah.
and they saw that same ship leaving their port,
Yeah, it would look like the same.
would it also look like it's going down?
No. It would look like it's
Going up?
It would look like, if it's coming towards them,
Mm-hmm.
it would just look like it's on the sea, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So if that observer,
Come over the top if you're going to see
okay,
it, right?
if that observer from the
It's
port,
not going down, it's just, at that point,
Yeah.
you notice that it's going down.
yeah,
Like, it's coming
yeah.
at you.
So that's why we all know the blue marble is like a water ball, right? That's what we're told we live on, right? So if we live on a water ball, that means that if I stood on a boat or an island somewhere where I could see the sea all around me, the water should be bending down around me at an equal amount. Do you agree?
Bending it around.
Well, because if you're on a ball, right? A ball bends, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't bend that. It doesn't bend. It bends like it's the curve out such a long distance that it's not going to be bending right beside.
Okay. No, I accept that. I accept that it's going to take some time to bend. Yeah.
You have to see with your eyes.
You don't think so? Because a lot of people tell me that they can see it going over the curve.
No, you would see it disappearing, but what's happening is it's going over.
Do you think so? Maybe that's more to do with the atmosphere, because like on a cloudy day, it'll go away quicker. On a clear day, it'll go away longer, further. And if you went on a higher position, like a higher platform, then you would see the ship for further, right? Right? So that's about perspective. And there's a bunch of things that affect perspective, weather, vision, the strength of your eyes, that sort of thing, perspective. But let's get back to your example of if the ship's going down from me as it leaves England or Ireland or whatever on its way to America, then the guy in America would have to see it come from above him, wouldn't he? Like if it's going down, then surely it's got to arrive. Don't you see that? Like there's a logical fallacy in assuming that water's going to go down.
It's not that steep. Right?
Okay.
It's not like
Okay.
the curve is so subtle that it doesn't
Yeah. So do you know the formula for that curvature?
Sorry? No.
Because I was never taught that formula for the curvature. And when I learned the formula for the curvature, that stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to live on a ball anymore. Because if you live on a ball, do you know the diameter? Do you live on a ball? Yeah. It's 25,000 miles in diameter around the Earth. So the formula, Pythagorean formula for curvature is 8 inches in the mile squared. So it means over like the distance between England and France at its narrowest point across the channel is about 20 miles. That's about 300 foot of curvature. Yeah, that's the formula. That's not mine. That's their formula. So you shouldn't actually be able to see the White Cliffs of Dover from France, but you can. You shouldn't be able to see, like the world record photograph over the ocean is 250 miles. You can see an island, all of the island at 250 miles in the sunset. That should be 3 miles after 250 miles, should be 3 miles down the curve, by the way. If you live on a ball that eventually is going to do this at 24,000 miles.
This is 304
to between England and France should be
how high is the cliff?
they're 100 meters, they're about 300 feet, and you can see the beaches.
Yeah, but how high is the cliff?
About 300 feet.
Well, then that makes sense, right? If the curve is 300 feet,
Mm-hmm.
the cliff is 300 feet high, then you're lucky to have a perspective where you can see it, right?
Okay, so if I was standing on the beach in France and I could see the beach in England.
But you can't see the beach.
You can, yeah.
You can only see the cliffs.
How much of the cliffs?
Probably just the top of it. Like.
No, but what if you can see all of the cliffs? No, I've been in Spain and I've seen Morocco.
Exact same height as the curvature. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously going to be some.
Okay. So you think that a port in France is lower than a port in England, like sea-wise? It's going to go down to them?
Port, like, it's not port to port. It's port to cliff.
No, but say on the water level, keep it simple. Because obviously the higher you go, you're changing perspective and so on. But keep it level. I'm saying water level, sea level, right? And ocean level.
Yeah.
But you're saying that there can't be. Most people, it's fair enough. You're like with most people.
Beach in France, I'm not going to be able to see England
On a clear day? It's a matter of fact. And there's plenty of people who will show you photographs online. You can go and Google this yourself. There's plenty of photographs of the beaches on the others. That's not a problem. 20 miles is nothing. With a P1000, P900 camera, these, you can zoom in on stars, the planets, and see them doing things that planets should not be doing. Rocks that are meant to be, or gas giants. You see them doing these light shows in the sky with these P900 cameras that will blow your mind. So they're not rocks. And the idea that these rocks, if they were still glinting like sunlight from a million miles back to my eye, that's just poppycock. Light doesn't travel that far. And if it were true that the moon was reflecting its sunlight, then the guys, when they landed on the moon, would have been in such a glare of light. It would have been blinding to everything and everyone. Because imagine that light's got to shine back to us 250,000 miles and illuminate half of the Earth on a clear night, which is a huge amount of light requirement. Now we've gone and measured the moon. We find that the moonlight is colder than the shade of the moonlight. So it's actually colder to be in the direct moonlight than in the shade of the moonlight, which is the opposite of the sun.
Do you like the crystals?
Yeah.
Do you believe in the crystals?
Yeah.
What sort of energy? Is that not imaginary energy too?
Well, no, we know for sure that all material, all living things have energy in them, and I think the rock is a living thing actually, and it does give off energy.
You believe in magical energy there, so why not magical energy?
Okay.
It's floating around the Earth.
All right. Well, I wouldn't say that because I can wear this rock, I'm now going to be able to float around the Earth, or I'm going to be able to stand upside down underneath.
Even some kind of mystical spiritual.
Yeah, but again, it's like I wouldn't shape my whole world view on it. I wouldn't say, okay, listen, that means that I live on a triangle, floating through space because this is energy. But I have had a DMT experience, and in the DMT experience, it showed me that I saw that everything is energy. Everything is simply a wave vibrating. The trees, the earth, the soil, even the plastic of your glasses, it's an energy.
Yeah,
whether
so
we
that would make sense why it would be hard to grasp what gravity is, or it's like basic monkeys.
Well, that's what you see. Remember, what they do is when you're 5-6 years old and you still believe in Santa Claus, they say also you can walk underneath a ball. And you're, oh, okay, but how come you don't fall off? Gravity. Your brain you can't work that out. Now that I'm 50, I went back to school and restudied everything that I'd learned. And it's like, no, there's no evidence of gravity. They've got this idea that if you pick something up, it falls back down. That's a force, and we call it gravity. And now with relativity, it means that you can walk underneath a ball, and water is going to, think about it. The water on the top of the ball needs a certain amount of force to hold it neatly there. How much force does it need when it's on the bottom of the ball? And how much force does a ship need? So gravity needs to know that there's a butterfly there, but it's going to hold a super tanker ship to the underside of the ball without anybody even knowing that. Whereas if I said to you, go to a mini town, if you've ever been to a mini town, they always set it up on a flat plane. It's going to be inside of a swimming pool, that kind of thing.
It's not the underside of the ball.
Sorry?
It's not the underside of the ball.
What is?
It's the top side of the ball.
But what about the underside of the ball?
There's no underside.
That's, well, there you go. You're on a flat earth, brother.
No, that's your
That's-
perspective though. Both are top sides.
See that? But that's like words. That's like a word
What do you mean?
soup.
Like, how is there an underside? It's not like you're at the bottom of a thing.
But that's what we're told to believe. Isn't that what a globe looks like to you? Like that? There's
Yeah, no, it looks like that, right?
right.
When you're on that side, you're on the top. When you're on the other side, you're on the top.
So both are on the top.
Yeah.
Sounds like a level plane to me, brother.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, sure. Think about it. Come on, you take a ball, right, and put a pal on one side of the ball,
So it's on the bottom.
put a pal on the other side of the ball, and say, oh, you guys are both standing on the top. The only way you can do that is tear that ball open and make it flat. Think about it. A friend of mine called Nick, he's just done something where they he takes a ruler and you bend the ruler like this, and you can make it seem like how things could be round just by perspective. Because if we look down there, these poles, like if this was another mile long, those poles would just get smaller and smaller and smaller. You know that, right? That's common sense. But we know that they're still at the same height, just like those clouds are actually, even though they look like they're going down into the ground, they're still at the same height. When you go up to in your plane, boom, they're just level, parallel, horizontal. So it's a trick of the eye that makes it think that things are going down and getting smaller because they're going away over. Your head down on the floor now, you'd lose the people's feet in the distance. First, you see their heads, but you lose their feet. That's called perspective, and that's all. We're so small when we stand on the beach and we look out. Yes, then very quickly, things that are low to the water, they disappear. Things that are taller from the water, the mast and so on, they stay in your view much longer. But ultimately, it's simply a case of eventually it ekes out of your vision, and it seems to have dropped away. And then they've sold us that lie as that's the ship going over the curve. But actually, that's only one angle. That's the x-axis. What about the y-axis?
You're not thinking about that's not really. Well, what are you doing then, man? Shift on over there.
But most people give that to me as their proof that we live on a ball. If you don't have the NASA photos, if they've been proven to be simply images that have been done on a computer, and there's a guy called Robert Simmons on YouTube admitting that, I'm a NASA guy, this is what I do, this is how we create them, we add in the clouds, we use a clone tool to do this, it's all done on Photoshop. That's how they create them.
What about an astronaut who's actually seen it? Just think he's lying.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I don't think they would all lie. I
Do
think
you-
there would be one astronaut that would be like,
Okay,
"Hold on,
okay.
this isn't right." Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
a guy that just like believes in the truth is just a good guy, and he's like, hold on, this is
Okay.
it's actually flat. Like I actually have news, guys. It's flat. There's no way NASA aren't telling them. Shut up, we'll kill you if you don't. Do you know what I mean?
Well, why not? The guy, there's a documentary called Astronauts Gone Wild, and if you see that documentary, you'll see the footage of them on their first interview.
They're looking down on a flat thing.
No, they're not up there.
They're not even up there.
No. Do you know how they practice the spacewalks? The EVA for the ISS, they do it in a swimming pool, right? You know that. Okay? You've seen that. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, so NASA do their spacewalks. They practice all their spacewalks in a spacesuit at 3 or 4 bar of pressure in the bottom of the swimming pool. Then when it comes time to do it for real, they just put a blue screen on the back, and boom, they're out in space, and they do the same thing. What we find, people who do research on this find bubbles rising out of the air. This is on spacewalks. They find times when gravity seems to be in play. They find examples of, even in the visor, a reflection of like a scuba diver has been found.
I've seen astronauts talk though about being up in space and what it's going to what it did to their body.
Yeah.
And talk in detail about that.
Yeah.
There's no way they're just making that up like this. It's just like,
Okay, well, I think it's possible that people could be, okay, okay, okay,
in a spaceship.
okay.
I'm not saying they're walking on the moon, but they're in a spaceship in space for sure.
Because they say so?
This video slipped over there when the rockets went up, and then they didn't come back down, right? Until so many months or years later. So it's like that.
Okay, well, when we look into the
That, like, you can't take a rocket
Okay.
taken off,
well,
like, right there.
let me help you with that. Okay. So all the rocket launches from Cape Canaveral are done into the ocean, over the ocean, right? So there's an area that people can't go, is known as the Bermuda Triangle. So we suggesting what's happening is, because if you watch the trajectory, within a minute, the rocket's already starting to tail off. It's starting to level off. And then they tell you, oh no, it's going flat sideways now in order to kind of get up speed to leave to space. No, what if once it's out of view, it simply drops down into the ocean? And the actors are all, the astronauts are all doing their thing from a...
If they were faking it, that'd be a stupid thing to do.
Well, if you find all the mistakes that have been made, it becomes obvious that they're doing harnesses.
Oh look, the ship's
Well, we've got people who got footage of from an airplane. One guy's got a footage from an airplane of a rocket launch, and then you see it kind of doing this and arcing right off as though it's.
You're not seeing it land.
But I'm offering you. You say, oh, because they've never taken a camera and put it on the nose cone or any part of the plane, the rocket, and gone all the way from. Let me finish. All the way from the ground up into outer space. Then they've never taken us from out of airlock into airlock and through into either out into space. That's never been done in any unbroken footage. A lot of it is done by CGI. So I'm just offering you. When you say, oh, they do this rocket launch, I'm saying no, but that might be part of the trick. Is they have to do a rocket launch. They have to have a good show. They have to have people cheering and believing that this thing is going on. I mean, there are people who believe in that Jesus was born from a virgin, right? Do you think those preachers are lying when they say, yes, he was born from a virgin? No, they believe it. So the science teachers who are saying, yes, we walked on the moon, they believe it. They're not lying. They simply believe it in the same way as many preachers believe what they preach. Many Islam's dudes believe what they preach, right?
I don't think it's the same thing. Like that's like.
Well, belief in gravity is a belief.
Because that happened 30 years ago. People are still alive today when that happens.
What?
When whatever, or when spaceships were taken off.
Yeah.
We're still alive today.
Yeah.
It's talking about Christianity, like no one was alive. No one who's alive today was alive. And their parents weren't
Okay.
alive. And
Okay.
it's the same
Okay.
amount of generations.
And but yet
where
preachers still teach it like it's real, right?
It's not the same thing.
Okay.
30 years ago, so many people were alive that were there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they might have even talked to people that were literally there and know it was true. So
Yeah.
it's not the same.
What would you say if I told you that the...
No one here met Jesus or met them, so it's different.
Okay. Well, there's people on a Sunday who will go, yeah, I've had a communication with Jesus. I spoke in tongues and I did all this sort of stuff. You know, that's what they think, right? But you know that that's not real. So there's lots of people who think a certain thing, but you only need, there's only 500 astronauts ever lived. And when you see the interview of Neil Armstrong coming back from the moon, the three of them, they look like...
Less. 500 and none.
Well, Buzz Aldrin is, in 2015, said in an interview, we haven't been. So you can take with that, you can say, oh yeah, he was just joking. That's what people say, oh, he was probably just joking. Okay, all right. What? What age is he? 75, 80? And he is a man, but if you yeah, but you know, what's his name, right?
He's just not getting
Neil.
attention anymore, and he's like, I'm sick of Neil getting all the buzz.
Getting all the buzz. Yeah, good. Well, no, actually, Neil never wanted to do any interviews. He probably did 2 or 3 in his life after the thing. He should have been like a hero, but he went away, got a drinking problem, and hid away from society. And then when he died, just before he died, he gave a speech that said, "We've still to reveal one of truth's darkest secrets, or greatest secrets. We're still to uncover something." So he was hinting that we don't know.
Even if they fake the moon, landed, all right. If they fake the moon landing, that makes sense, right? Because there was a motivation there of we want to be there first. It was like a little game.
That's another story I hear. Yeah. Yep. I've heard that one.
That doesn't mean that there hasn't been astronauts in space and that the Earth is flat. Like,
think about it like this, guys. If we could go to the moon 50 years ago with that technology, think about this. If we could go 50 years ago with that technology, think about how planes have developed in 50 years. But think about if we go to the moon 50 years ago, why haven't the richest men on Earth got themselves little things going on the moon, space trips? You know, Branson can't get out there. Elon Musk claims to get out there, but that's all everything he provides you from after the launch, CGI. It's all CGI. If you go and look into it, it's become the biggest religion on Earth.
it's not far off, and then it's not far off. That's it.
What's that?
Like it's going to be commercial.
I've been hearing that for 30 years. I'm 50 now, right? So I was born in 1968 when the moon landings happened. And all that time they've been saying they're going to go back and we're going to do this. Okay, but no, you're not. You're making excuses for 50 years ago when we could barely. We had landlines. We had Casio pocket calculators. Is all we had. And we can't go back today. NASA are on record admitting that we can't get out the Van Allen radiation belts, which is some 1,000 miles up. That's what they admit today. We haven't got the technology yet. We're working on new technology to get out the Van Allen. So they say, oh, why can't you use the moon technology? Oh, we lost that. Or we've destroyed it. It's Don Petit on record saying we destroyed it. It's a difficult process to build it back up again. So this is technology of 50 years ago. Our computers are thousands and thousands, millions of times faster.
It's about motivation resources. That's it. They built a specific ship though for a specific goal at the time. Like, it's no need for them to do that. Why? So they can just go back to their doing again. They're obviously trying to do other things that they're building, putting resources into building specific things for those goals, right? So.
Did you hear that they put a mirror on the moon? Did you know that? Have you heard that? They've got a mirror on the moon and they fire a laser at it every now and again to reflect off extreme beaches, like in Australia, for example. The people have got live feeds of beaches. You can go online and watch your favorite beach in Australia being filmed, right? So you could have a company put their logo, well, a company would put their logo on that and they'd make a lot of money with people wanting to watch Earth. Wouldn't you want to see the Earth from space? In fact, before NASA went to space, most of society thought that, no, there's no way we live on an Earth, on a ball. You needed to see it from space to believe it. So wouldn't you love to see that? I would love to see that, because if I'd seen that, I'd go home and I'd pack up and say, okay, it's possible that rocks can float like this for millions of years, just on a cushion of time and space. I assume you believe time and space is what's we're floating on. I used to believe that too. But that's just a belief system, and there's no way of proving that. There's no way of evidencing that, other than maths, theory, built on supposition. There's nothing, I'm afraid, to prove that. And why? It gets to the why. Why the hell would they lie? Well, why? It gets to the why. Why the hell would they lie? Well, why would they lie about religion? Why would they create these lying religions that fight against each other? For the control of humankind, for sure. I don't know, the Vatican, the royals, whoever runs the show, the Freemasons. I don't know who the they is, but I know that there has to be a controlling hand. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think.
Who's they, though?
Whoever runs the show. I don't know who the they is, but I know that there is a controlling hand. I'm not saying it's all bad, but there's military establishment. No ways. And then for the evidence after the fact to be so patchy, to be like, well, where's the planes flying into buildings? Where's the evidence of these guys ever being at those airports? Where's how's sorry?
Security camera footage.
There's one security camera footage of 2 of the 19 guys at an airport. Truth is, nowadays, if you went to an airport, there would be 10 cameras, 20 cameras that would catch each of you. There's very little. Once you look into it and you realize that 110 stories of a steel building cannot collapse in 11 seconds.
No, the building 7 makes it a little more sense.
Building 7, you've looked into that. 50 stories in 6 seconds. That's got to be a controlled demo, right?
I think they knew. I think they knew it was going to happen, but they let it happen. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they created it. I think they knew it was going to happen, but they just chose not to stop it.
Have you ever had a barbecue?
Sorry?
Have you ever had a barbecue?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how hot that fire gets?
Yeah.
Has the legs of that fire ever melted? No. In fact, the bottom of the legs of that fire are probably cold, right? So we're meant to believe that 500 feet down from this fire, all the way up there, the metal got so hot that it simply buckled and went away in no time. It was demolished, my friend. That building was demolished. You can't even clap your hands 110 times in 11 seconds. That's how many stories had to pancake down on each other and then disappear into almost rubble, to dust, to nothing. No. That had to be destroyed properly. Otherwise, it would have buckled. It might have fallen. Some of it might have fallen, but well, the whole site had to come down. Well, yeah, maybe they used. And there's the story about backup. Yeah, there was a cleanup.
I think it was Muslims actually did try to take out. They chose not to stop it because they had whatever motivation to start a war over it.
Okay.
And then they chose, here, look, since it's going down, we might as well try to take out this thing too. You still
really, what's your name?
Marcus.
Marcus, I'm Dave. You still really want to believe in your government, Marcus, and I'm here to tell you that you cannot trust your government. You cannot trust the authorities, and whatever authority has given you this idea that it was still these Muslims is the same authority that wants us to go to war. And I mean, why I say us, I mean Europeans or Christians or whites or whatever, to go to war with Islam. That's what they want. And that's what 9/11 was, one of the major catalytic events of this current war on Islam. They call it a war on terror, but it's terror that's been designed by the state itself. It's called false flag terror. We're creating most, if not all, of these terrorist events ourselves. It might be Muslim guys sometimes that they can use, don't get me wrong. I'm sure plenty of Muslim dudes that are a bit angry about that stuff. So it doesn't take long. And the same as, you sound like you come from Ireland. The same in the Irish thing is that if you start throwing bombs into one neighborhood, very quickly you'll get boys out of that neighborhood willing to throw bombs in the other neighborhood, right? So the West is busy throwing bombs in the Middle East, big time. You know about that? Yeah. So it's not hard to find 10 boys that are going to go, yeah, fuck them. Give me a gun and I'll go and take out some whatever, whites or Europeans, whatever they want, whatever they want to call us. So that kind of conflict between Jewish, Islam, Christian thing, that's been a tool of control, of keeping the people in fear, keeping the people at each other's throats for time immemorial. And why not do a life-changing event like a JFK, a 9/11, a moon landing, and all these things that they can do as sort of psychological operation. Sorry?
I think there's aliens.
No. I used to think of the possibility that there was life on our, but that was when I believed in billions of years of evolution, and that our planet is 4 billion years old, and there's 13 billion years of total evolution possible. So,
I think Bigfoot's real.
no, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I will admit that before I found that the Earth was flat, I thought that there was a possibility of asteroid strikes and stuff like that. I thought that Nibiru was possible, and all these other sort of things that they've got conspiracies of. All the government psyops about there being, you even got some of the astronauts saying, "Oh yeah, there were aliens on the moon." Have you ever heard that? Buzz Aldrin, "Oh yeah, there were aliens on the moon." And there's a few others, "Oh, there were aliens on the moon." Bullshit. They never went to the moon, and they're trying to create this lie that there's aliens that are going to either come and save us or mess humanity up. That's what they're lining humans up for, is this belief in that there is a Star Trek, Star Wars thing about to happen. In fact, Donald Trump even announced a space force recently, right, for America. It's got like a 6th arm of the military, a space force, right? And this is all designed to kind of get humans thinking that we're under attack there's a threat, existential threat to humanity, and we need to all get together behind one world government. That's why it's important, is that because you're actually meant to be a divine creature here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Nice to meet you. Really nice to chat to you. Good luck. All the best. Bye-bye. Hey, man. See me. Oh, wasn't meant to see that. You can rewind. Hey, well, there you are. I'm warming up the old larynx, eh? It's, yeah, it's been good then. That was interesting, eh? Oh, I forgot the guy's name, unfortunately. Lee, Flat Earth British sub, said that if I was drinking distilled water, I need to also have, I should drink bone broth. I asked him why. He hasn't got back to me. So Lee, if you're watching this, get back to me. Doing a little bit of activism, sharing some of your wisdom. I mean, I know obviously you're at the deep end of the pool, but it's invigorating, especially when you get people like that who are still willing to chat, even though they don't want to take it on board. You hope that some of these little things are going to hang to them like barbs to a Velcro strap. But my little Earth is flat meme has worked quite well here. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I wonder if they come for us. No. Shame. Well, I'm probably gonna check on out of here, guys. I've got things that I've got to do, and I'm sure this has been long enough. Oh, England's weather is so shit most of the time. But today's been pretty pleasant, and it's nice to see people sort of, this looks like some proper beach scene. You know, you could think this is like Miami or something, or Spain. I'm trying to get out to Spain actually. If anyone has any work contacts out there in Spain, perhaps Portugal, just drop me a line. You know, I got a bit of flexibility, and damn, that's some flexibility down there. Yeah, you know, and I think Andrew and I are looking to, you know, do things a bit differently with Alexander. So, that feels almost wrong, but so right. We're here to enjoy, aren't we? I mean, the pleasures of this world. Damn. Volleyball's a good sport. Oh, that's... No, you're alright. She's alright. Yeah, you should read this, my friends. This will change your life if you can take this on board and absorb what it means. Gravity holding oxygen spraying around a ball has never been proven. Water must be contained. All government is mind control.
Oh, no, no.
And religions and science, a lot of science today is about minimizing who you are, what you are, and what your purpose is here on this plane of existence. And if you can free your mind from the religious and science traps that we've been set, then you can really find your way to yourself. I think that's what the mission is that we're here to do.
Yeah, that's a flat earth. I've looked into it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't dismiss it.
Good man. Do you mind if I film you for a minute? Oh, all right. That's all right.
Because I'm at Cambridge University.
Oh, okay. Oh, well then.
If I got seen
talking about this,
yeah,
it's
frowned upon.
Yeah. Oh, really?
There'll be repercussions.
Of course, because I mean, it's like being a pilot. You can't be a pilot and think that the Earth is flat. If you say it, you'll lose your job.
Because I've touched on subjects like that at Cambridge.
Yeah.
And it's instantly dismissed.
Yeah.
Played down because the reason why you've got the top scientists there, religious leaders, and they're conditioned a certain way, and they will just see you like a thorn in the sides.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough.
Well, I totally get.
Wow. What they did was they used his research as, they call it nuclear energy now, and they're using some sort of free energy harvesting system to generate heat, and they call it nuclear, and they say it's very dangerous, stay away from it. Rather than it's actually very cheap and very easy to create free energy. Yeah.
Gone are they powerhouses? Cycle.
Oh, right.
15-year-old kids just get on a bike, pedal, and it generates electric.
Wow.
So if a 15-year-old child can work out how to create electric, and the government with a budget of billions of pounds, they can't work it out.
Oh yeah.
It's
called over unity, isn't it? So you've got a system that creates more energy than it needs to run itself. So you get over energy, and then that's what you burn. That's what you use. But there's also other things. I think it's because if you understand that this is an electromagnetic plane, that perhaps we will discover ways of, just as Tesla suggested, harvesting simply with a machine that's just simply sucking the energy out. No one's having to pedal, no one's having to do anything, but simply that it's like breathing the energy in the same way as our lungs are. And just for thanks for stopping by and all that. As I said, you wouldn't have heard me if you'd come later. I said at the beginning, it's been a while since I've been on. I've been sort of in my own world trying to work out my own stuff, and haven't really had the headspace for live action. And I haven't also, it's like, as I would say, I don't want to waste people's time and take up people's time when we should be working on ourselves, not spending too much time simply listening to others, but actually implementing some of these things in our lives, whether it be self-improvement or getting out there and doing whatever it is you're called to do. So I see that there's stuff happening in the flat earth sort of movement, as it's called, You know, how much of it is programmed in, planned in, I don't know. Do I want to get involved and embroiled in it? No, I don't. Do I think that some people are misguided? Well, yes, of course, and that could include me, in the things that we think or say or do, and that could be out of genuine misguidedness or other motivations. I don't know, but see, I don't want to be putting my energy into squabble, and that as much as I can avoid it. You know, because we've said this before, actually, one of the things that Flat Earth needs to be mindful of is that every time you set up a group, you set yourself up to be group thought, you know, and someone else making decisions for you and usurping your thought processes. Oh, trust me, take my word for it, and so on. No. There's no one's version, if you like, no one's model that I'm going to say, or, you know, it can only be his way and that way. You know, it's not worth it, because there's too much we don't know, and to fall into the trap of thinking we do know, other than the obvious stuff, like water. Anyway, I've had a good time here, but I do need to go home and see my boy. Oh, hey, I'm, you know, being remiss, actually. Friends of ours who are Flat Earth friends, Josh and Charlotte, had a baby 3 or 4 weeks ago now. It's been that long since I went live. I think I went live the day before the baby came and predicted the baby's arrival. But the baby arrived in good health. Her name is Ember, and she's beautiful. I haven't met her, but she's beautiful in the photos. And because she's, you know, a perfect being of the Creator. So congratulations to Josh and Charlotte. I'm very happy for you, and I'm sure all of you will wish them all the very best in trying to raise a child in this conked up world consciously. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now, and I'll look forward to talking to you all again soon. Oh, I didn't actually say thank you for... Guys, I'm not trying to be funny, but my eyesight, and if you saw my phone, you'd understand, it is shattered in so many different ways. I actually cut my finger on the glass screen because it's so broken. So I can't really read. I can't even read the blue writing of your name. So it looks like everyone's saying, people are saying goodbye. Thanks for coming by. We'll talk again. Be well.